Welcome, friends, to another edition of the Wraparound. It's me, it's your boy SalG here with you on It's a Rap Network. Please make sure you throw up a like for your boy here and like the show, like the podcast. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Get this all out to your friends, family, loved ones, anybody else who'd be interested who likes sports. Appreciate it. Hope you're all doing good here. Big week for Philly sports. Big weekend for the Eagles, friends. The Eagles tore it up. They go to Baltimore and they beat Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, John Harbaugh, the rest of the Baltimore Ravens. They win 24-19, a big statement win against Baltimore. I for sure thought they were going to go in there and lose this game. And even if they would have lost, I wasn't going to be worried about this team because I still think this team had what it took to get to the top. Well, forget about scratch all that. They won the game. They won 24-19. Yes, they got some help from opera singer turned NFL kicker Justin Tucker. He missed 3 kicks. One was an extra point. That's 7 points on the board. So who knows what would have happened, how the game could have swayed if some of those kicks landed for Justin, went through the uprights. But as such, he missed them. The Eagles capitalized. The Eagles won. They won in Baltimore. Good win. They held Derrick Henry, who was second in the NFL in rushing, too, who won Saquon Barkley, who was number 1 in rushing at the moment. He has 1,499 yards. Yes, 1 yard shy of 1,500 yards, and he still has 5 games to play. The Eagles are going to next play at home on Sunday against the Carolina Panthers. So, could be a trap game because we played a Pittsburgh Steelers a week later. So, we don't want to look past them. Definitely got to take care of business. But man, are the Eagles a shoo-in for the Super Bowl or what? I mean, who who scares you in the NFC? I understand Detroit won 11 straight, something ridiculous like that right now, 10 or 11 straight. I'm not scared of them though. I'm really not. They're a good team, but you take Jared Goff away from that dome, and he could get into some trouble. Also, Sam Darnold. He primarily works out of the dome there in Minnesota. You take him out of there. This is his Darnold's first year where he's actually decent. So, you know, credit to Kevin O'Connell, the Minnesota Vikings there, but I'm not scared of the Minnesota Vikings. And right now, the playoff picture for the Eagles to secure home field advantage. Right now the Lions are 1 up. They're 11-1. The Eagles are 10-2. Well, the Lions have a pretty tough schedule. More tough, I'd say, than the Eagles for sure. The next game is going to be Thursday, so it's a short week for them. They play Green Bay Packers. Yes, they're at home. Green Bay no slouch. They get Buffalo at home. That's 10 days later. That's going to be a Sunday. That's a tough game. They play at Chicago on Sunday, December 22nd. Now, you're saying, well, Chicago stinks. They just fired Matt Eberflus. We'll get into that too. Matt Eberflus got fired. Chicago stinks. Caleb Williams, I don't know about him. But again, this is taking Goff out of the dome, playing at Soldier Field, playing at Chicago, playing where the weather can be 10 degrees. There could be a blizzard going. You could definitely have a snow game or hell, a wind bowl. You can get some major wind gusts, some bad weather coming to you at Chicago. So not an easy matchup. Then they have to go at San Francisco, and yeah, it looks like they lost. The Niners lost Christian McCaffrey for the year. That sucks. Their backup running back Jordan Mason also went on IR, so he's going to miss the next 4 games. Um, He could come back at that time. That's Monday, December 30th. That's at San Fran. It's not going to be an easy matchup. San Fran isn't going to be in do or die mode themselves. Their backs up are against the wall to try and make the playoffs. And then they cap it off playing Minnesota at home. That's Sunday, January 5th. So those 5 games, Green Bay, Buffalo, Chicago, San Francisco, Minnesota, that's not easy. That's not easy. This is what the Eagles have in store. Carolina at home, Pittsburgh at home. That's a tough test. We know how the Steelers are. They just wallop the Bengals. So the two teams put up 82 points combined, most combined points in a game so far this year in the regular season. Then they got to go at Washington. Yeah, it's not that easy of a matchup. But then you get Dallas at home, the Giants at home. So 4 of your last 5 games for the Eagles are going to be at home against competition that's not so good. And I think this puts us in the driver's seat, great chance to get home field advantage in the playoffs. So I'm excited for that. Hope you all are too, because I think it's going to be a fun ride. The Eagles just can't look beyond each opponent at a time. They got to focus on their next opponent, Carolina. They're playing that at home. Don't overlook them. Just put a whooping on them and handedly beat them. They almost came away with the win the other day against Tampa. So they're looking, they're probably itching and clawing and wanting to get another win. I mean, they want to fight. They want to go down swinging for sure. Play spoilers. They're not going anywhere this season. Take a look here. See. All right, let's break down this game a little bit. Hope you all got a chance to watch it because that was an awesome game. The Eagles' toughest test of the season, I'd say. No doubt about it. They were the best team that we faced so far this year. And almost mirror images of each other in personnel, right? You have the number 1 and number 2 rushing leaders in the NFL. Number 1 leader is Saquon Barkley, who coming into the game at 1,392 yards. Now he has 1,499. Yes, he put up 107 rushing yards against the number 2 ranked rush defense in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens. So impressive by Saquon, no doubt. Definitely wore them down. King Henry, no slouch himself. Number 2 rusher in the NFL coming into the game. I believe he still is the number 2 rusher. He currently has, he had 1,325 yards coming into the game. Currently has 1,407. Eagles did a good job of containing him. The one thing about Derrick Henry, he is a big man and he is fast, but he doesn't have a lot of juke moves. He's a one cut and go type of guy. The Eagles were able to get pressure on that offensive line for Baltimore, get in the backfield some, make Henry do more than one move. He couldn't just cut. He's moving east and west, and that's how they were able to get him. They were able to tackle him for losses. Allergies acting up to my itches. Tackle him for losses. I mean, did you see the hit Cooper DeJean put on Henry, and the entire Eagles sideline and players on the field were going nuts with I don't know what the celebration was. I don't know if this means relax, calm down, or his party dance. I don't know what that is. Cooper DeJean put a hit on Derrick Henry. Kids, if you're watching, if you want to know how to correctly tackle a person in football, watch Cooper DeJean tackle Derrick Henry. That is a textbook tackle, shoulders square, got right in front of Henry, went down, picked up his legs, drove into his body. And Cooper DeJean's weight went into Henry and knocked him down. I mean, it looked like he destroyed him. Derrick Henry is a lot bigger than Cooper DeJean. But Cooper DeJean is a good fundamental tackle there. It laid the wood on him, so they say. So that was a big hit. Cooper DeJean against Derrick Henry. So you have the number 1 and number 2 rushers in the NFL. You have Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson, 2 quarterbacks with similar styles. Lamar Jackson, a little bit faster than Jalen Hurts, yes. But they can both buy time in the pocket. They can scramble. They can rush when they need. They're strong. They're big guys. They can get those tough yards. Not afraid to go head first into a pile. Lamar Jackson, two-time MVP. He has a good chance to get his third MVP this season. Jalen Hurts was a finalist for the MVP in the past, but never won one. Not going to win the MVP this year. I think that's safe to assume. But similar styles of play, but Lamar Jackson is what you want Jalen Hurts to grow into as a complete quarterback. Lamar Jackson came into the game leading the league in passing yards. You wouldn't think that from Lamar Jackson, but he's really, he's won those other two MVP awards, and this could be his best year yet. So you are going against an MVP candidate, Lamar Jackson, an MVP candidate, sure, and Derrick Henry. And yeah, the Eagles have their own MVP candidate. Yes, Saquon Barkley, his hat's in the ring. He's got a chance for it. They normally don't give MVP awards to non-quarterbacks. The last time that happened, 2012, Adrian Peterson, where he had 2,000 yards rushing. He was given the MVP award, but that was 12 years ago. My math is so bad. 12 years ago that a non-quarterback won MVP. Could it happen this year? Definitely can. As long as Saquon keeps chugging away, the offensive line of the Eagles keeps doing what it's doing, Saquon's going to continue to break those big runs. Again, I mentioned this before. Saquon Barkley was signed for a 3-year deal. Does not mean he's going to play the 2 more years after this. Okay, if I'm the Eagles, and I'm sure Barkley's got no problem with this because he seems like a team player, they're going to run him into the ground if it can get them a championship. You do it. You buy the championship. You got the Merc. He's not the Marco Murray. He's different. This guy is different. Change of attitude. He never had a bad attitude. I'm going to put it this way. But Barkley said, once he moved to Philadelphia, he became a lot happier. Now, why? Well, when you win, it makes you happier. When you lose, it breeds contempt, right? So Barkley is where he wants to be. This team is the best team he's probably ever played on in his professional career. And maybe he's got a chip on his shoulder. Maybe, people have said he was a bust. He's not. He had a couple injury-plagued seasons. Yeah. I believe he even also missed a year one time for an ACL. But Barkley came back, played on Giants teams that weren't good, have bad offensive lines, couldn't get anything going. But you see the type of runs Saquon Barkley's been busting out week in and week out, 60, 70-yard touchdown runs. It's like he just came out of Penn State. That's what he was doing at Penn State when he was 18, 19 years old. And he's doing it now where he's what? 27. Still a young man. Jeez. A young man, but he's been in the league such a long time. I've been in the league since he was 20. That's pretty wild. So and he's got a long, nice life ahead of him after football ends, that's for sure. But run him into the ground, Philly. Use him. He is your secret weapon to win a championship this year. It's something that the Eagles have been missing. This closer. They got a closer, this running back in Barkley. First ever matchup between two 1,300-yard rushers coming into this game in Barkley and Henry. And both rushers having 10 touchdowns each, at least 10 touchdowns each. Henry came into the game with 13. So it's crazy. It's the first time in the NFL it's ever happened. This early into the season where we have two players who have numbers that would be excellent numbers for any player who ended a season on. No, they still have 5 games each to pad those numbers. Saquon got a chance for 2,000 yards, got a chance to break the rushing record of Eric Dickerson. Derrick Henry has got a chance to break that record too. It's crazy. Saquon Barkley also has a chance to break the scrimmage record. That's combined rushing and receiving yards. That was held by Chris Johnson. Well, still held by Chris Johnson. Saquon has a chance to do that. But in this Eagles and Ravens team, you have an irresistible force beating an immovable object. You have Baltimore, the #1 offense in football, versus the Eagles, the number one defense in the NFL for the Eagles. Number one. So what's going to happen when these two teams collide? Who would prevail? It was your defense. It was the Eagles that prevailed. They won. They won. They were able to contain Derrick Henry. They able to limit the damage Lamar Jackson can do with his legs. Yeah, Lamar Jackson got 79 yards rushing. Didn't get a touchdown rushing. They limit the damage he can do with his arm. He threw two beautiful touchdown passes, but that wasn't enough to beat the Eagles. You know, he was looking for his tight ends all night. Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, that's who the scores went to. You know, Jalen Hurts throwing to his tight end, Dallas Goedert. Let's hope he's okay. He left the game at the end of the game. They said he was hurt. Let's hope he's okay. We got some injuries for the Eagles after this game ended. So, again, it's a war of attrition in the NFL. You know, players get hurt. They go down. They go down for a game. They go down for 4 games. They go down for this season. It's going to happen. Just if the Eagles can stay healthy, if Barkley can stay healthy, if the offensive line can stay healthy, and if Jalen Hurts can stay healthy, this team has a really good shot of winning the Super Bowl. Definitely. Coming into the game, Lamar Jackson, we're talking about number one in passing yards, also number one in the NFL in passer rating, also number one in the NFL to touchdown to interception differential. Jalen Hurts, though, not having a bad year himself, coming into the game, passer rating of 102.3. That's pretty good. Lamar owns the NFC. Owns the NFC at a 23-1 record coming into the game with the Eagles. 23-1. So you know, the odds are, I know they were favored to win the game, favored by 3, I believe, but 23-1. Well, now it's 23-2 because the Eagles won. The Eagles beat the Baltimore Ravens. But man, going into this game, or just breaking down this game now. Let's check out, before we do that here, check out. I got to see some comments here. Make sure you throw some likes up for your boy. Sal, Big Al, what's going on, brother? What's going on? Cooper DeJean, Brian Chalkins. So who gave him that name? I saw that too, and I understand Brian Dawkins, Chalkins, line in the chalk, or line on the ground, chalk line, dead guy like Cooper killed Derrick Henry. Who came up with that name? I want to know. If you came up with it, I'll give you credit, but I heard it already. Adam saying, "What's up, Sal, my man? What's going on, Adam? Hope you're having a good day, brother." Brian Chalkins. I kind of like that. I kind of like it. Kind of like it, but I always feel like if you're selling merch, you put that on a shirt, and nobody going to be able to sue you on that one, right? Because you got Cooper DeJean on there and Brian Chalkins. It's not even his name, so yeah, it's kind of funny. I like it. I like Brian Chalkins. If his name was Brian, it would work a lot better, but I like it. I like it. But anyway, let's go into this game here. First quarter, I heard Jim Nantz call Britton Covey. And I was like, Jim Nantz don't mess up, man. He'll make mistakes. I was like, have we been getting this wrong in Philadelphia? Is this just because my ears and the way we talk? We don't say water, we say water. So I just figured we've been saying Covey, and it's Coovey. But anyway, I think Jim Nantz got it wrong because he seemed to have corrected himself afterwards, calling him Covey. Britt Covey did get hurt in the game too. Let's hope he's okay. He comes back all right. Man, things look bleak to start off this game because you had what looked like a sack of Lamar Jackson by Josh Sweat, but then you had an Avonte Maddox holding call that made it first down. Then the next play, Lamar Jackson just finds a wide open Zay Flowers, and I was like, oh God, there goes our number one defense for a 40-yard pass to Zay Flowers. The defense came through. They were able to hold Baltimore to 3 on that drive, so that was huge. Huge to do that. Ravens, though. So they had the 3-0 lead. Justin Tucker, that was a kick he made, and missing some. But, man, I saw Zay Flowers in that first quarter open on a couple of plays, and I was like, what is going on here? Where is the coverage? Where's the defense? 3:49 left in the first. Ravens touchdown, Mark Andrews. 14-yard touchdown catch. Lamar just high points it up in the end zone. There was 3-4 Eagles players around Lamar or around Mark Andrews. Andrews, the biggest, tallest guy there, stuck his hands up, said, "It's my ball." Then the opera singer, Justin Tucker, he misses his extra point. Justin Tucker, this is why opera singers can't play in the NFL, guys. Baltimore up 9-0, and we're watching this game. I know I was watching, and I was like, what the bleep is going on here? There were 6 penalties in the first quarter for the Eagles. 3 of them were on special teams. The hell's going on here, I was saying. What are they doing? Lord. And then in the first quarter, there was only 1 first down for the Eagles. So, yeah, their first quarter woes continue. Kind of got to clean that up. Again, is it the scripted plays? Is it a feeling out thing? Are the Eagles just feeling out the teams they're playing and just trying to see what they're going to throw at them? And then they're going to counter with a bigger punch, in the next quarters there. Only 1 first down in that first quarter. 17 first quarter points all season for the Eagles. It is last in the NFL. It's terrible. The second quarter, though, Eagles able to strike back. Touchdown, Dallas Goedert, 17-yard reception. So both quarterbacks looking for their tight ends here. Made it a 9-7 game. You had the defense causing all types of havoc. I was talking about getting to Henry in the backfield. Zach Bond had a big tackle, getting Henry for a loss and forced that 4th down. They were putting pressure on Lamar in this game. And then in the second quarter, another touchdown. 14 points scored in the second quarter. It was huge because there wasn't much scored in the third quarter. Eagles touchdown, Hurts, tush push, or as Tony Romo says, tushy pushy. And that's kind of cringe. It's a little it's awkward, right? I don't like it. So I'm going back to tush push or brotherly shove. Hurts, tush push, 1-yard touchdown. Extra point is good because our kicker doesn't miss them. Well, he had the yips too, right? Made it a 14-9 game. Second quarter, 3 seconds left. Justin Tucker, he kicks one. He makes it. 50-yard field goal, cuts it down to a 14-12 Eagles lead. And then your first half stats: Lamar Jackson, 11 for 15 for 140 and a tutty. 2 rushes for 12 yards. Jalen Hurts, 9 for 14 with 104, 1 touchdown, 5 rushes for 17 yards and a touchdown. So Lamar looked like he was on his way to a big game. You expand that out over a full game, and that's almost 300 yards passing. So Eagles clamp down in the second half, though. Derrick Henry, first half, 9 carries, 35 yards with 1 catch and 16 yards. Saquon Barkley, 10 carries for 45 yards and a reception for 5 yards. A.J. Brown, there was no Devontae Smith in this game. His second game in a row that we missed Devontae. And you know what? We're going to play the Panthers next week. Err on the side of caution. Don't play him. I want him healthy for the playoffs. Keep Slim Reaper healthy. 5 receptions, 66 yards for A.J. Brown. Zay Flowers, 3 receptions for 73 yards. He looked like he was going to go nuts in this game. You know what? He finished with 3 receptions. Sorry, besides 3 for 73. Well, must have given him an extra yard. He finished with 3 catches for 74 yards. That was it in the game. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. So that all his production at Zay Flowers, he was wide open. Again, the Eagles make the adjustments at halftime. They clamped down on Zay Flowers, clamped down on Lamar, clamped down on Derrick Henry. Offense had a tough time. Third quarter, there's no scoring by either team, but Zach Bond with another big play, big sack to force a 4th down. Tucker misses the field goal. Tucker missed 2 field goals and an extra point. That's 7 points. So who knows what could have happened with those 7 points? Who knows how the game could have been altered? Again in the third quarter, minute 21 seconds left in the quarter. Tucker misses again. We lost Reed Blankenship, though, with a concussion. So we got some injuries in this game. Hope he's all right because we need him back, too. And again, these concussions, you don't play around with them, and you're playing the Panthers next week, don't play him either. I'm not saying just lay down to the Panthers and just start all your backups, but if you can give these guys more rest when you're playing some of these cupcake opponents, that's what you do. Fourth quarter, 7:56, Eagles touchdown. The Eagles were just softening up that Ravens D with the run. Just run up the middle, 3 yards here, 4 yards there, 5 yards here. Saquon busts out a 25-yard touchdown, puts the Eagles up 21-12. It was the first point scored since the second quarter. First Eagles points. And then the Eagles ice it up a bit. Field goal. Jake Elliott, he don't miss, 24-12. And then I talked about Cooper DeJean with that. What is it? Brian Chalkins. That's his new name, right? Okay. Cooper DeJean with the monster tackle on Derrick Henry. Whole team was fired up. Everybody was amped up. Ravens get a garbage time touchdown. Doesn't matter, though. That makes the score, cuts it to 24-19. Eagles hold on to win. There was only 3 seconds left in the game. You're up 5. Whew. Breathe a sigh of relief. Your Eagles win. All is right in Eagle Land. Man, what a game, brother. What's up, Johnny King? What's going on, John? How you doing, man? Been a while. Wooder, what's up, Sal? What's happening, brother? Hope you're doing good. Yeah, man, that's the Eagles. That's the Eagles. They're looking great. They're looking strong. They look like Super Bowl contenders. Now, I know we've seen this happen before. Weren't the Eagles 10-1 last year? 11-1? And then the entire team's Viagra prescription ran out. And nobody can get up for the big game anymore. Week after week, just losing. They limped in the playoffs and got bumped out by Tampa Bay. That's it. Surely it can't end like this again. It can't, right? Well, it happened last year, so I guess it could happen again. But I like to think things are a little different. So what's different this team from last year? 1, Saquon Barkley, secret weapon. 2, the draft pieces that they brought in. Quinyon Mitchell, who's on an island. They don't even want to throw to his side of the field. Nobody wants to test him. So you got him. Cooper DeJean. Awesome. Looks awesome. Slot corner looks awesome. Jalix Hunt. He's going to have to play some more now that you lost Brandon Graham. So we're going to need him to play. The Eagles did sign a Charles Hollis, I believe, who used to play on Carolina. He was cut from Carolina. So, he's a veteran player. Again, if Carolina's cutting you, how good are you, right? But as a stopgap, you're not going to replace Brandon Graham with anybody, especially guys you find on the scrap heap, right? In the garbage bin. So we'll see what this Charles Harris does. Maybe he can help. We'll see who's going to get the majority of snaps. We'll see. I'm curious because we got to see. You can't replace this guy. The rotation is Jalix Hunt, Josh Sweat, Nolan Smith. We'll see what happens. We'll see what they do. Milton Williams too, right? So we'll see what happens. We'll see. But yeah, a war of attrition. Guys get hurt. You need everybody back healthy. Let me see here. I'm just checking this out. Just checking some notes out if I missed something. But anyway, going back to the Birds here. Yeah, Charles Harris to replace Brandon Graham. He was cut by Carolina. I had my. Okay. Devontae Smith. So we got this out with a hamstring. Reed Blankenship left the game because of a concussion. Britton Covey left with a neck issue. Goddard exited with a knee issue. So we'll see how everybody is going into next week's game. But man, just what Barkley's doing. He has 8 100-yard rushing games for the Eagles this season, tied with Wilbert Montgomery for the most in a season in Eagles franchise history. Well, I don't know if you guys remember Wilbert Montgomery. He was before my time, but look him up. He was one of the most prolific running backs that the Eagles have ever had. He was a very good player back in the day, in the Jaws days. Barkley has 6 rushing touchdowns of 20-plus yards or more in the second half this season. It's most in the NFL for a single season. And the season ain't over yet. He's going to add on to that. The Eagles had 6 penalties in the first quarter, 3 were on special teams. They got to tighten that up. That's not going to be good in the playoffs. You know what? And I forgot to shout out our punter, Braden Mann. He had 5 of his punts downed inside the 20 and 2 inside the 10. The Eagles didn't end up. It was thanks to those punts that the Eagles got on the scoreboard, because it was a 58-yard punt by Mann, pinned Baltimore at the 1, and then Philadelphia forced a 3 and out to give its offense the ball back near midfield. So huge plays. So there was more confirmation from NFL reporter Ian Rappaport saying that Sirianni and Hurts were in constant contact during the bye week. You know, we talked about transformation since the bye. I mean, the Eagles have won every game so far coming out of the bye. They could finish the rest, win out. It's a possibility. I don't think it's going to happen. Certainly possible. Sirianni and Hurts were in constant contact during the bye week with Zoom calls, phone calls, in-person meetings. They spent hours each day breaking down the team, focusing on the offense, spotlighting the leadership, and hitting on all issues. That's from Ian Rappaport saying that. He says, was it just Sirianni, Kellen Moore, Saquon Barkley, the offensive linemen? Team bonding. Hey, when you win, things are good. Things are good in town, right? No, it wasn't good. You guys watched that game on Thanksgiving with Chicago? I mean, was that coach trying to get himself fired or something purposely? How could you let the clock just run out? You had like 20, 30 seconds left. Matt Eberflus fired. I think he wanted to get canned. He still gets his paycheck. It must be nice to go to Hawaii for 6 months. You just go live there the rest of the year, probably the rest of your life, cash in those $1 million checks that you got. So not a bad deal there. First head coach in Bears history to ever be fired mid-season. The Bears have been around for a long time. That's never happened. That's kind of crazy. So Eberflus, Caleb Williams, the Bears, they could have called a timeout and kicked the field goal. Tied the game. They didn't. I don't know. And clock ran out. Craziness. Talking about Saquon Barkley, man, going on a run. Got a chance to, beat Eric Dickerson's record, 2,105 yards rushing. That's sick. That was in 16 games. Now you get an extra game, 17. Hey, it still counts. I'm not gonna. If it takes Saquon 17 games to do it, I'm not gonna have a problem with that. That happened in 1984 with the Los Angeles Rams, and then Chris Johnson. Saquon has a chance to break that scrimmage record, 2,509 yards by Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson did that in 16 games with the Tennessee Titans in 2009. Another stat coming in. Only Barkley and Hall of Fame player Jim Brown in 1963 have had 1,300 rushing yards, 6.2 yards per carry, and 10 rushing touchdowns through 11 games. That's pretty rarefied company. Pretty nice there, guys. The Eagles looking good, looking strong. On to your next opponent, Carolina, and you're at home. Next 4 or 5 games for the Eagles, they're at home. You can run the table, birds. Let's do it. Do it. I can tell you who's not going to run the table. Maybe they're showing signs of life. This is the Philadelphia 76ers. In the past week, they had 2 games. They went 1-1. One was an overtime loss to the Houston Rockets, and the Houston Rockets are a pretty darn good team. So, maybe it's a good thing. They lost in overtime. Following game, they won against the Detroit Pistons. Yes, the Pistons stink. almost as bad as the Sixers. But are they turning a corner? Are things going to change? Well, one guy that wasn't on the court was Joel Embiid. He wasn't there. He wasn't there for the Sixers, and the Sixers have a back-to-back matchup coming up this week. They're going to play tomorrow against the Charlotte Hornets and then Wednesday against the Orlando Magic. So I'm assuming with whatever's going on with Embiid, he's not going to play in back-to-backs because he said he wouldn't, and the coaching staff said he wouldn't, and I believe the GM said he wouldn't. So if anything, you get him for one of those games. Paul George came back. It was nice to see him play. He was out. He was listed as inactive originally coming into the game the other night and Saturday's game against the Pistons, but he ended up playing. He put in some time. They didn't have to apparently use him. He only had 26 minutes, and that's fine. Whatever. You're paying max money to this guy. I don't know. 11 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Tyrese Maxey, though. Tyrese Maximus Decimus Meridius Jr. 28 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. Your star of the game for the Sixers. 11 from 24 from the field, 5 for 10 for three-pointers, 1 for 2 of free throws. 35 minutes is your minute leader as well. So Tyrese Maxey, you are awesome. And you know who else is pretty good? The rookie, Jared McCain. He only had 7 points in this game, but man, does that guy show some promise. And I saw a report that the Sixers would have no problem trading their 2025 first-round pick. I don't know if that's a good move or not because the Sixers finish really bad. I mean, there is a chance they can get 2025 draft highest player in the 2025 draft, Cooper Flagg. So here's some more stats. In NBA history, only 8 teams that have started the season 3-13. It was before the Sixers won their 4th game there. Started 3-13 or worse and still made the playoffs. All those teams were eliminated in the first round. So, barring a miraculous turn of events for this team to win an NBA championship this season, I say it's highly unlikely. If it looks like at best they make the playoffs and they get bounced in the first round. Because all the other teams, the Pelicans, 2021, 22, that happened to them. The Sixers in 2010 and 11, that happened to them, lost in the first round. The Bulls in 04 and 05. The Suns in 96 and 97. The Cleveland Cavaliers in 84 and 85. The Bulls in 76 and 77, 67 and 68. And the Pistons in 62, 63. We're going back a ways. All those teams that started at 3-13, at best, lost in the first round of the playoffs. So, not looking good. And Joel Embiid, another report I read was that per ESPN's Ramona Shelburne, she's saying that Ben Simmons had reached out to Joel Embiid and wanted to mend fences and be friends and all. And we know there was some contention amongst Joel Embiid and Simmons and the Sixers and Simmons and the fans and Simmons and everybody in Simmons, I guess. But no word yet on if they were able to hash it out. But I think Ben Simmons made an attempt. Here's something else funny, too. Regarding Joel Embiid's knee, right? The 76ers sought multiple opinions on a knee injury before the contract extension. Normally, when you do that, you are afraid to sign him to a contract extension because the knee is what it is. So, should we be worried, concerned that the Sixers medical personnel, front office, they did all this due diligence on Embiid's knee, and it turns out that Embiid might not even play half of the games? Like, I don't know. It's crazy. According to ESPN's Ramona Shelburne, the team and Embiid sought half a dozen medical opinions. Embiid sought them out too. I'm not really sure why. Embiid probably said, "Yeah, can I get away with this?" I don't know. 3-year, $192.7 extension. That's a lot of money, guys. A lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Lord, it's about 65 million a year. Close, 60 and change. That's a lot of coin, man. Everybody consulted said his knee could be adequately managed by a combination of rest and procedures to promote healing. I don't know what procedures are. Promote healing, which Embiid has been regularly undergoing since last season. Another report from FanDuel, Sam and Mick from The Athletic, talking about Embiid, saying he has heard rumblings. He's saying, I'll be honest, guys, I knew that his professionalism had been questioned consistently around the league and within the organization. This is talking about Joel Embiid. So I guess his work ethic, saying, professionalism being questioned. That's not good. It's not good. So you hear all this. You hear the team doing due diligence about his knee, talking to medical profession. So you have all this information. And the information is you decided to give this guy a 3-year, $192.7 million extension. You got to live with him for 2 more years. I don't know who you're going to sell him to. You guys pennies on the dollar? Who's going to want him? Yeah, all right, when healthy, Embiid, one of the most dominant players in the NBA. Asterisks when healthy, right? Earning 7 All-Star nods, 5 All-Star NBA selections, and an MVP award. Yeah, he's awesome when healthy. He won a scoring title in 22 and 23. Average career high in points, 34.7. I don't think you're going to get to that. You're not going to get no career highs again. Can you get to 30? He's not going to get 34. You're not going to average 34 a game. No way. He appeared in only 39 games last year. Do you see him appearing in many more than that? I don't know. I don't know. I hope they don't make a mistake. I hope they don't trade Jared McCain. I don't think they should. I hope they don't trade that first round pick. Because that first round pick they trade, I don't know if it stays protected. I don't know the ins and outs of NBAs when you finish in a certain rank. If you're dead last, do you lose that pick? I don't know what's going to happen. But if you have a chance to get Cooper Flag, I think you should tank. I don't know how a lot of the guys that came here, I don't know how they're going to feel. I don't know how Max is going to feel about tanking. I don't know how Paul George is going to feel about tanking. Joel Embiid probably don't care. I bet a lot of these guys that came here, veterans that signed here, aren't trying to lose, don't want to sit on the bench and just get smoked week after week. I don't know. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. Nick Nurse is probably going to get canned because that's the way it rolls. But yes, Daryl Morey has brought you Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain, but he has also brought you this other mess. The process didn't work. So, Steve Nooms, what's going on, brother? He said, what did I miss with J.O.? Just talking about just all the rumors of the past week. Just a lot of dirt on him. People saying he's not a professional. As NBA players. Ben Simmons tried to make up with him. It's crazy, man. It's craziness. Adam saying, I'm surprised Doug Peterson didn't get fired yet. Yeah, you know what? Maybe the owner there will give him till the end of the season. I mean, Trevor Lawrence just came back. He had a bulky shoulder, and man, he was running for a first down. He slid, and dude just drilled him and knocked him out of the game with a concussion. Teams were fighting on the field, so I don't think Peterson is going to coach next year for the Jags. Maybe they'll let him finish the season out. We'll see, but they're going to fire him down. And say, shut it down and get the meniscus transplant. Yeah, I'm for it. But first, get clean, Joe. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. But you know what? Let's transition to. Hey, you know what? Maybe the Sixers aren't doing what they thought we were going to do this year. But you know who's exceeding expectations? Maybe. Philadelphia Flyers right now, guys, are 12-10-3. They're 5th in the Metropolitan Division. They've won 3 in a row. That's a winning streak, guys. It has happened before. They won 3 in a row. 3 in a row for the Fly guys. Toughest test for these guys comes Thursday night. At least they get a few days off to just chill, relax, right? Because they played Saturday. So Sunday, I'm using my fingers to count. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 days. All right, till their next game from Saturday was their last game where they won in overtime against the St. Louis Blues. Mr. Overtime, Matvey Michkov comes through with another overtime goal. The Flyers, man, they're doing it, man. This team looks good, man. I'm not going to get my hopes. Michkov is the real deal, bro. He's the real deal. But they faced the Florida Panthers. Yeah, they won the Stanley Cup last year. They're really good. They're 15-9-1 and first in their division. So that's a tough game. But we play at home. So there's that. So let's go 4 in a row, Fly guys. Why not? Let's do it. We can do this. But man, Michkov, overtime machine. Listen, Tortorella, you can't bench this dude anymore. That's enough. That's enough. No more benching. I don't want to hear it. But man, I just heard looks like Sam Ersson can come back soon. They said he's practiced today, so that's good. They also sent Helge Grans back down. That was the defenseman. So it's possible they sent him down because they're going to activate Ersson. But maybe it's not, because maybe you wouldn't send the defenseman down. Maybe it's Jamie Drysdale coming back. I don't know. Rather not, but I mean the Flyers, man. When Ersson went down, I thought for sure the goaltending, because Fedotov looked horrible. He was ranked one of the worst goalies in the NHL. All of a sudden, stopping everything left and right. He's playing well. Kolosov's coming in. He's playing well. Problem is that when Ersson comes back, what are you going to do? You can't keep 3 goalies on the team. If you send Kolosov back down, he might do a baby act and take his hockey mask and go home. He might go home back to Belarus. We don't want that to happen. But this guy, he was already complaining if he wasn't up with the big club by a certain date, I'm going to go back, get out. I think your best bet, honestly, if I'm the Flyers, you try and see if you could trade Fedotov. I don't know what you can get for him, but if that means you get to keep Kolosov and you have Ersson up here, Fedotov just turned 28. He's a rookie still, right? He's 28. So Kolosov's younger, a few years younger than Fedotov. I think you move Fedotov if you can get anything for him. Anything. I think you do it. You try and get picks. I mean, my buddy was telling me that there's a chance that the Flyers could get a first-round pick for Rasmus Ristolainen. And I was like, a first for him? So maybe Fedotov you can get I don't know, it's a third-round pick, crazy. But if you can get a first for Risto, I would do it. Do that deal. And it's crazy because we're a rebuilding team, the Flyers are, and it's like we have a gluttony of players at the moment. You have Anthony Richard, Tony Dick down in the minors who's still scoring goals. They had to send him back down because they had no choice. Cam York came back. So they had to send somebody down. And I guess Richard has the options. But he's been playing well. I like to see him back up here because he seems to provide some speed to the Flyers line. And he has a nose for the net. So I like to see that happen. I want to see Kolosov play some more. Maybe he's your future. I don't think a guy that's 28 years old who just came up in the league is your future. I don't think he's the number 1 goalie. I don't know. But the Flyers have a decision to make. I don't know if keeping 3 goalies on your roster is the smartest of moves to do. I think you got to do something here. And we'll see what that is. And some guys are going to get traded this year. It's going to happen because the Flyers are rebuilding. Joel Farabee is a possibility of getting moved. Morgan Frost. Scott Lawton could get moved. Ryan Paling, some of these 3rd and 4th line guys. I mean, I don't know what you can get for them. Contending teams probably have enough of those 3rd and 4th line guys. But Rasmus Ristolainen, he's been playing well. If you can get a first for him, and he's not a top pair defenseman, I think he's your 2nd line defenseman. So shoot, if you can get a first round for that, I guess it's defensemen are hard to come by in the NHL if that's the market is for him right now. And then you have Zamula, who uh, I'm not really crazy of. So I'd rather Grons be up here than Zamula. Again, I don't know the options, how that works, but I like to see what they can do. There it is. Nooms. Tony Dick and your Flyers 8-2-2 in their last 12. Their last 12. Flyers 4-0-1 in their last 5 games. 3 of them going into overtime. So the overtime kings right now, led by Matvei Michkov, who had the past 2 overtime goals. And yeah, you gave me 8-2 and 8-3-2. I have since Halloween. Since Halloween night, Philadelphia's going 8-3-2. So yeah, there we go. So that's their last 13 games then. But they're a fun team, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for the future. You know, they're not winning the Stanley Cup this year, but you know, I always thought the GM portion of owning a franchise is interesting. It's just the deals you make, the contracts you sign, the players you trade away, the players you get in return. You know, it's my favorite in baseball. That's my favorite part of baseball is the trades. You know, so many more that happen in baseball, but just in all sports, just to see that the GM aspect of things, how things work out. You know, like with Howie Roseman working out with the draft this year. I mean, that's great to see. Howie Roseman fleecing guys, win deals. You know, when that phone rings and you see Howie Roseman on the caller ID, you don't want to pick that up. So I'm hoping that Danny Briere and Keith Jones can do something similar. You know, they don't got to rip everybody off. Just get some good deals, get some good picks, get some good players, whatever it is to churn out a better lineup. You know, next season to be competitive. You want to be competitive sooner. You want to contend sooner than later, right? So we'll see. Is Urson a number one goalie? No, he's a tandem goalie. I think he's definitely an NHL goalie, but I don't think Fedotov is. And at his age, why play around? If you can move him, move him. I don't think he's gonna. You know, hold on. I guess I'll pump the brakes again. We don't want to have another Brizgalov, Sergei Bobrovsky deal. I mean, we got rid of Bob, and he ended up winning a Stanley Cup and what MVP and the trophy for the Conn Smythe for the goalie. You know, he won that award. So yeah, maybe I could see them being hesitant to pull the trigger on some deals for goalies, trading them away. Anyways, I could see that happening. All right, let's wrap it up with some Phillies talk now. We got the Flyers. So the Flyers Thursday play the Florida Panthers. Make sure you tune into that game. And then the Sixers play back-to-back games starting tomorrow. Interesting. We'll see if JoJo plays one of them. The Phillies, though, guys, the Phillies still in the Soto sweepstakes. They're not officially being named a team that's serious in the mix, but you never know. John Heyman saying that there's 4 teams currently in the mix. It's the Mets, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox. If you remember, well, you're thinking the Blue Jays. That's weird. The Blue Jays tried to get Shohei Ohtani last year. I think he even went to go see them, and they were considered a dark horse to get Ohtani. Well, I guess they want to make a big free agent splash. They're going to have to throw a lot of cash to get Soto to go, to Toronto. But John Heyman said he wouldn't count the Phillies out. He wouldn't rule them out. Or, of course, the World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers. You know what? I'm tired of the Dodgers. The Dodgers just signed Blake Snell to a 5-year contract. And now that they're in the running, there's a chance that they can get Roki Sasaki, who was the top Japanese, one of the top Japanese pitching prospects to come over. Now his situation is different. He can't get like $300 million like Yamamoto did. He's still considered amateur on the amateur circuit or whatnot. You have to post, and the money comes out of your international kitty. So whatever team has monies they have allocated to international players, that's the money they would use for Roki. But the lead for Roki Sasaki is either the Dodgers or the Padres. Yeah, I understand West Coast. It makes a lot of sense for the Japanese players to go on the West Coast because when you travel to Japan, you don't fly across the Atlantic and fly through. You actually fly through the opposite direction. You can fly through the Pacific. So, and traveling from LA to Japan's a lot quicker than traveling from New York to Japan. So there's that. So the Blake Snell, the rich get richer. The World Series champions, they sign Blake Snell, 5-year contract, a lot of money. It was 160 million, I believe. Ooh, 5-year, 182 million. So that could, that could bite him in the tuchus there. We'll see what happens. That's a lot of coin for sure. Is that 35 million ish? 36 million? 36 million and change. They also deferred money. So apparently this is a thing now that the Dodgers are doing and teams are doing. Deferred contract money. If you could do it to get Soto, defer some of that money for 20 years, you do it. Chances Soto's going to take it? Probably not. You never know. You never know, right? It's like I look at it like it's weird that even Ohtani that did it, right? I know Ohtani's rich, he's got all these endorsement deals, but it's like if I won the lottery, I'm not getting paid out an annuity. I'm not waiting 20, 30 years to get all my money. I want it. If I win 500 million Powerball, man, I don't care if that payout is 300 million. Pay it all up front. I don't know what's going to happen with the lottery commission in a few years. I want my cash now, man. Let that thing grow. Earn some interest on that. So I don't get the deferring the money, but I don't know. I guess it makes sense. It made sense to Bobby Bonilla. He's still getting paid, right? That was like 30 years ago. So the Phillies, they're not out of the running. I don't think they're going to get Soto. I just think it's a long shot. The winter meetings for baseball begin next week. That's where all the team ownership, the GMs, they all get together and they booze it up, and who knows what other debaucheries around them as they talk trades. So we'll see a lot of trades happen. Sometimes a lot of trades happen during the winter meetings. Sometimes nothing happens. So it's just an excuse, I guess, for these rich guys to just get together and BS and get drunk and do unsavory things. I don't know. Hopefully, I'm sure that they're fine. But that's taking place in Dallas. Winter meetings, December 9th to the 12th. Let's see here. Anything else for baseball? I'm just checking. Yeah, I'm still. We still got a lot of. Really, nobody signed. I mean, you got Blake Snell signed. You had, shoot, you had Matthew Boyd signed. That was an interesting contract, 2-year deal for Matthew Boyd, $29 million. The Cubs signed him. That's not bad money. And Matthew Boyd showed promise. He could strike guys out. Heavy fastball. Walker Buehler. Mets are interested in Walker Buehler, but I wouldn't want him. The Dodgers declined to offer him a qualifying offer because chances were, if they did, Buehler would accept. A qualifying offer in 2024 pays you $21.05 million, and teams can get burnt by that. Sometimes the reason why a team offers it to, say, like Juan Soto, is because you get draft pick compensation when you offer that. So you offer that to Juan Soto, he's not going to accept it, but you offer it to a Walker Buehler or a Placido Polanco. That happened with the Phillies. They offered him a qualifying offer back in the day. He accepted it. That delayed Chase Utley's debut for the Phillies because of that. So you got to be careful with that type of move. That's a lot of coin. You don't want to eat that on a marginal player. I wouldn't pay Buehler $21 million. So if the Mets want him, they can have him. I don't think he's that great anyway. So, all right, guys, I'm up against it here, but thank you all for joining me. Let me just show you here a couple things. Yesterday was our first Philadelphia Eagles post-game show, the Birds Fly Guy, here on It's a Wrap Sports. So make sure you tune into that, guys. We're going to have that after every game. You already see the next one's up, the next graphic. The Eagles versus the Panthers at home. Should be a win for the Eagles. Should be. And here's your clear the ice lineup on It's a Wrap. You got me going on Thursday. I get to cover it again against the Panthers. That's cool. And then I go again Saturday against the Boston Bruins. And then Sunday, Matthew takes us home against that Utah Hockey Club. So yeah, guys, it should be fun week. Brick up, MF. That's right. Come on, everybody. Show your love for your boy. Go like, share, and subscribe to the It's a Wrap Network. My name is SalG. You can follow me at SalG Philly on the X, on the Twitter. It's been fun, guys. I'll talk to you next time. Peace.
I'll be coming up hot for a minute. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. Drop the top when I'm in it. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. Yeah, I'm so. Everybody know I'm. You know when the click through. Try to send this about to be a trophy.